to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is what's stopping you? We all have all kinds of dreams that we either consciously or not consciously hold in our hearts. And today we're just going to continue on our way of making the invisible visible, to look at what's stopping us and to see how we might take action to transcend those blocks or boundaries. So before we get started, let's just take a minute to settle in and get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it, and imagine clean, crisp oxygen coursing through your lungs, into your bloodstream, into all your organs, nourishing and revitalizing and enlivening all your being. And as you exhale, exhale any stress, any tension, and allow your shoulders to relax. And let's take another deep breath in through your nose. Hold it, and this time imagine sparkling white light lighting up every molecule and every electron in your body and your being, and connecting you with the universe beyond, expanding you and interconnecting you with the universe. And now let's just gently press our palms together, really, really softly. Rub your fingers against your palms and feel how wonderful that feels, that tickling, tingling sensation, and allow that to help you to be here, present, right here, right now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so glad to be with you today. Today's Friday, and we've kind of had a theme this week of bringing the invisible visible. And today is no exception to that topic. It's such an important thing. There's so much that we don't uh, don't have in conscious awareness about our lives and about ourselves, and bringing those things to awareness is a greater path to freedom in so many ways. So I had a conversation. So many of my conversations with you are prompted by conversations that I have with others. But hey, that's a rich resource, right? So I had a conversation with a friend yesterday regarding this vision that I've had for quite some time about an eco park. And I've mentioned this to you guys before. And I'm feeling like it's time to really start putting the wheels in motion for conceptualizing it a lot more thoroughly. And I said to this friend, well, I've been thinking about putting together a mastermind of people to plan out these different areas, or to brainstorm about how these different areas of this project might be brought to fruition, or might end up showing up in the world. The ideas about how to solve a lot of the quote unquote problems that are, or challenges that arise in trying to create a project of this magnitude, and also with the intention of having it be sustainable from top to bottom, zero waste, positive impact, all kinds of things like that. And he said, what's stopping you? and and I had to pause, because it's like, what's stopping me? What is stopping me? And I realized that what was stopping me was just making the time for it and having somebody to brainstorm with and collaborate with. And as a result, we're going to be collaborating on some of the collaboration on this today, uh, and who knows what will come of it. So uh, what I realized in asking, or being asked that question, was that the things that were stopping me were completely surmountable, and we solved them right in that very moment, which was amazing. And since then, since allowing myself the freedom to entertain that I actually can move forward with this and that I have a venue to do that, now my mind is moving through all kinds of possibilities, and I'm just generating all kinds of ideas and have a strategy for how to proceed with our meeting today. And so that simple question, what's stopping you, or what was stopping me, uh, and allowed me to find movement or find a path to greater expression and progress. And I wonder if you look at you and your life and your dreams especially, maybe it's not even dreams, maybe it's something even more mundane, like a project, so like another example for me is I have been really interested in encaustic painting for a long time, and I made a commitment to myself to actually complete my first encaustic piece this month. So, what had been stopping me was that I hadn't really committed, first of all. And then, second, what was stopping me is that I needed to get equipment in order to be able to do this. So, what was stopping me in the realm of getting the equipment? First, it was not knowing what I needed, and then it was, well, finding the finances for it. And so I did. And now I'm really excited that these materials that I need to be able to, or that are required to be able to do this encaustic thing, are on their way. And that's really, really exciting. So by asking what's in the way or what's stopping you, most often you can find, when you find those stopping points, it it gives you a pathway to solving the problem. And the thing is that often we often experience a problem as I said, as insurmountable. Uh, and part of the reason that we experience it that way is because we haven't broken it down into component pieces. So um, by looking at what's stopping you, we can find the immediate barrier to resolve, or it's kind of like when you have a really big project and it's looming large and you just feel overwhelmed by it. The way to be able to approach that is by breaking it down into baby steps. So this is actually a technique that is in, I'm trying to remember who it is that has, I'm not remembering at the moment, but when we feel really overwhelmed with all the things we are tasked to do, or committed to doing, or are required to do, one of the techniques for reducing the overwhelm and actually getting into action is dumping all those things that you have to do from your brain onto paper or into a format that you can actually offload it. And when you have it recorded in a context that you can then follow up with, even if it's a list, but calendaring or scheduling things on the calendar, for example, when you break it down into little pieces, then you have the ability to chip away at these monumental tasks. And I think that that concept applies to the notion of our dreams and visions for ourselves as well. Maybe you have this really big dream of something that you want to accomplish in your life, and uh, you you don't even know how to begin to approach it. And so asking yourself what's in the way sometimes can be the thing, or what's stopping you can be the thing that starts opening it up. So if you say, I want to take a trip to see the Northern Lights. This is one of the bucket list things that I have for myself. And I haven't entertained it with great seriousness. I just sort of have it on the bucket list. And so one of the things that's in the way of me being able to bring that to fruition is, first of all, getting serious about it, like getting an intention set to actually have that happen, rather than to have it be just a dream or a vision. And then what's next is, what time of year are Northern Lights, to get an idea of when it is, find out more about it. Where do I go to see Northern Lights? And once I learn where to go to see Northern Lights. Hi, Robin. Thank you. Thank you for the message. She says, I needed to hear this. Awesome, Robin. So, which part did you need to hear? I mean, because here, hello and good afternoon, Hope. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you guys here, and everybody else who's joining us. So, I'm wondering which part of this is being helpful for you, Robin, because I think that so often we make things unattainable for ourselves by saying, oh, well, that's a dream, instead of really entertaining what could it be to allow that to happen, or to bring that into fruition in our lives. So uh, back with the Northern Lights, breaking it down into pieces. What's in the way? Well, I don't really know. Hello, Danette. Welcome. So glad to have you back. um, we're talking about what's stopping you. What's stopping you from having the dreams, or fulfilling the dreams, following the dreams that you have, regardless of how big they are? Or what is stopping you from doing that big project that's been sitting there waiting for your attention forever? And the trick here is to be breaking things down into manageable action. And so uh, so Danette says, I need to get my house organized and clean. I let it go so long. It's a good, so long. So this is a good idea to write it down. So Danette, maybe just break it down into manageable bite-sized pieces. I know when I let things go, and that happens periodically, sometimes I just get completely overwhelmed. And so the best approach is to say, you know what, I have 10 minutes. I'm going to do this for 10 minutes, or to move toward that objective. Robin says, I'm starting a spiritual business. I have fear, plus trying to leave abuse. Big stuff, Robin. Good for you. All the power to you. Congratulations. And so teasing these things apart, this is, this is not the venue, obviously, to be able to address something as profound as trying to leave abuse. However, there are strategies, so maybe you need support. Maybe there's a support group that you could join, where you can find people that have resources that they would be able to share with you. One of the biggest challenges in leaving an abusive or negative situation is feeling that you need to do it alone, in the sense of isolation and powerlessness. And one of the things that we can do to empower ourselves in moving through difficult situations is to gain support. And I'm certain that you would be able to find some kind of support group that could assist you with strategies and support, and perhaps even legal support that you might need in your transition. And to be in that place, and to be starting a spiritual business, you're really doing such profound, powerful work. I mean, to be able to be bringing forward that vision in the midst of a situation that is so threatening, I just give you all the kudos in the world. So it's interesting that the strategy that we're talking about, like looking at what's stopping you, gives you answers for the kinds of directions and the kinds of actions or the kinds of answers we need to find. When we learn what's stopping me, for instance, if I say, well, I don't know what time of year the Northern Lights is. So then if I know that that's what's stopping me, that's easy enough to find an answer to. If I know that a lack of support is stopping me, then I get to say, well, okay, what kinds of ways can I find support? There are hotlines we can find. There are probably lots of online support groups. There are probably Facebook groups. There are probably maybe even groups on LinkedIn. There are probably all different kinds of legal resources to help us out of difficult situations. As far as starting a business, what's stopping me? Well, I don't know how to go about starting a business. Well, there are resources for that. So there's the Small Business Administration, for example, and you can go to the SBA, and as an individual entrepreneur trying to start a business, you can get coaching for free from the Small Business Administration, for example. And Danette, as far as getting your house organized and clean, um, one of the things you can do is just take a small project, or you could list out a whole bunch of small projects that would take you to that place of organization, and then you can chunk it down. Like for me, I have a hall closet that is my linen closet that's packed full of all kinds of odds and ends. And so maybe I could take a half hour and start digging through that closet, or set up different projects for yourself that are part of the bigger project. When a project is so big and nebulous, really the biggest challenge is when the thing is so nebulous. And to address the the issue of fear is also in relation to our unknowns, right? So as we start to break things down into pieces, it gives us a sense of maybe a little bit more security in being able to say, okay, I can do this one thing today. And so Robin says, I've been working hard on myself. He's mentally abusive. I stayed because I had to take care of my son. He has spinal cord injuries. Actually, I have excuses. I could have left way before. So, Robin, it sounds like you have a lot on your plate, like you have a lot of challenges that you're contending with. And it sounds um, like maybe now is the time to be looking at strategies and to getting the support that you need. You say you could have left well before, way before. There's not a whole lot of percentage for us in coulda, woulda, shoulda ourselves. Uh, the coulda, woulda, shoulda is a fantasy, because really, if you had the resources and the wherewithal and the motivation, then you would have. And you didn't, because for whatever reason, you didn't have all the resources all in the same place at the same time that enabled you to really take that action to relieve yourself or extricate yourself from your situation. So no more blame, no more shame about it. You get to look at what do you choose today, and what's stopping you, so that you discover what you need or what will support you in making the choices you need to make. And if you choose to stay, then be respectful of your choice to stay. I mean, be conscious and deliberate about your choices. And if we are conscious and deliberate about our choices, then we don't need to blame ourselves anymore. So maybe it's getting to the point where, like, we're always balancing things, right? We're always measuring the benefit against the deficit, so to speak. And when the pain becomes enough to overwhelm the benefit of staying in a difficult situation, that's typically when we move. Now, the thing is, you don't have to wait till the pain is unbearable. And you can look at the situation and say, I know there's going to be pain in making this transition. However, the longer term pain of staying in this circumstance is just not worth it. And it doesn't have to be at a point where we allow things to get to emergency. The trick is to pull ourselves out of a familiar, and therefore, believe it or not, even though it's a horrible situation, there's some safety and familiarity. I've seen this. I remember long time ago when I was in college, I was dating somebody. I was really unhappy. And I had this moment where I said to myself, well, I'd rather be unhappy in this relationship than have no relationship at all. And I realized, or to concern myself about cultivating a new relationship. You know, I'd rather stay in this miserable relationship than take my chances on another. And I saw that in myself. I was horrified. You know, that actually that's what I was settling for. I was willing to settle for that degree of living. And so Robin says, I would not have my self awareness. I am not staying. I am worthy of a peaceful life. He no longer makes me cry. Just the financial stuff I need to work out. Thank you for the love. Robin, I commend you for your determination and your strength and your commitment to your self awareness and your commitment to your welfare and the welfare of your son. And there are financial services that you may be able to take advantage of, especially with your son who's injured. I don't know, that's not my arena, but maybe there are social services support systems that you can connect in with. And I wouldn't pretend to imagine the challenges you're facing. And I do offer you great love and such such respect for the journey that you are going through. And it's so important for you to really truly know that you are worthy of a peaceful life, and that to presence yourself to that worthiness, and um, uh, and give yourself permission for that. That is probably one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. So, um, where were we? So Danette says, sending lots of love to you, Robin, and strength. That's from Danette, and I'm sure, Robin, that the rest of us here feel the same, and are sending you our support and seeing you in your strength and in your voice and in your freedom and your authenticity. And we're rooting for you. So the thing is, especially when we're facing these overwhelming challenges, and I don't know if you're seeing this, Robin, but Hope Wellington Marshall also says, stay strong. um, when we face overwhelming challenges, and they can be mental, emotional, physical, spiritual. Um, when we're facing these challenges, breaking them down to bite-sized pieces that we can take action on is profoundly, profoundly empowering. And I can't emphasize strongly enough how important it is when we have a dream and a vision, or when we have an overwhelming circumstance, then what we can do most immediately is to break it down into chunks, into bite sized pieces that enable us to be in action. And why do I keep saying be in action? And the reason is because when we are in action, when we have clarity, and are able to move from that clarity, then that action is a confirmation and a validation. What we're doing is we're creating a dynamic cycle. The cycle moves from inside, where we source a sense of clarity, and we move from that clarity, and then that action opens up new vistas for us and expands our possibility. And when in action, we get to interact with people that then may present new opportunities that we hadn't been aware of, where we can just keep a momentum. And so the questions that allow us to break things down into manageable chunks are the things that then allow us to have the spark to become engaged in manifesting what it is we are envisioning. And yeah. So when I think, just to circle all the way back to the beginning, when I think about this eco park project, there's so many moving parts to be thinking about. And when I just think about it by myself, without putting it on paper, without breaking it down in chunks, without brainstorming about it with others, um, it's overwhelming, and I end up at a stall, and or have in the past. And now I'm reminded, all I need to do is look at what about this? What about that? Start asking questions, start chunking it into manageable, approachable pieces. And that will make all the difference. And so I invite you, whatever the circumstance is, to look at what's stopping you, and to use the answers for what's stopping you as a focus for how to address bringing these visions of yours to fruition. So, hello, Helene. Welcome. I haven't heard your name here, seen your name here before. It's wonderful to have you here, and wonderful to have everybody else that is joining us. And good for you, Danette. I'd love to hear how you make out. Danette says she's going to try that this weekend with chunking things down to see how that works. Because I think when we have these big visions and these big projects, or these big challenges, our expectation is that we can do it all at once. And I think that when we break it down into bits, maybe you can break your project down into bits, some of which are 15-minute bits, and others might be an hour bit, and another Ah, well, great, Helene. I'm so glad this is your first time on. Hopefully, it will be the beginning of a long and fruitful relationship. So, I encourage you to to really utilize your ability to break things into manageable pieces. Something's going to take 10 minutes, something's going to take an hour. Take the time to plan it. Take the time to plan out the projects to say, okay, I'm going to do this bookshelf, for instance, in terms of getting your house organized. I'm going to do this bookshelf. I'm going to allocate 15 minutes. All right, that's that one. What am I going to allocate other amounts of time to? And if you have it all written down, then at some point during the day, you can say, you know what? I have 15 minutes. What's on my 15-minute list? I'll do that. And you'll be amazed at how much more productive you will be and how much more energy and excitement or enthusiasm you will gain around something that previously felt really heavy and overwhelming. So that's it for this week. So this week, really check out the other conversations this week, because this week was all about bringing the invisible visible. And so this technique, what's stopping you, and asking the questions, that's one of the ways that we are bringing the invisible visible, and recognizing the things that impact our way of being and bringing them to conscious awareness gives us greater awareness, and it also gives us a greater opportunity for choosing the life that we desire. So on that note, so much love to you, and I wish you a wonderful weekend. And how about if you use today's talk to inspire you to take on something that you have been avoiding by looking at what's stopping you and how can you chunk it down, and let's all feel the fulfillment of moving into that space of accomplishment and possibility. So Robin says, yes, time management. Thank you so much for the wonderful words of encouragement. Robin, you're so welcome. And you've got lots of love here. And I wish you all a wonderful weekend. I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection, and I'm here on weekday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Enlightened World Facebook page is where I go live. And please, over the weekend and every day, check out at the other amazing programming on Enlightened World Network. And before I go, I'm going to just read. Hope says, thanks, Mira, going to give chunking a go. Good idea. Really, it's magic. And Robin says, yes, time management. Thanks so much. Oh, I think I read that. And thank you, Robin. And Danette says, have a beautiful and blessed weekend, everyone. And I wish you the best. So much love. And hopefully, you'll be back here to join me next week. Take care, everybody.